So there's two ways we can look at it. The side of humanity is overrated. It is in a way because think about it. You think the bullying stops in high school, college? Fortunately not. There's a percentage, I don't know how much it was, I remember, but I look at the stats. There's a lot of adult bullies in the workplace. That's right. You got adults acting like kids, adults bullying adults, where there's females bullying females. Unfortunately, this humanity is overrated. Why is it overrated? What went wrong? If we're truly Martians, why did we end up this way? What the hell happened? Well, we obviously have to go back to the Big Bang and see the pre-civilizations of humans or Martians, which we are. Technically, everything is Martian, if you think about it. Everything came from space. Every single thing from billions of years. Every single thing. That's right. The animals, the plants, even yourself. That's right. God or a supreme being or deity just didn't make things come out of the blue. You can look all this up. The plants, the bacteria, everything from billions of years came from space. So it's bad that this saying humanity is overrated, but it's actually true. They say the survival of the fittest. Well, look at the animal kingdom. They're killing themselves for survival. Well, we're not necessarily doing that. So that's the difference between animals and humans. We have bigger brains than animals, so we learned how to adapt and survive through biological and sociological evolution. We learned empathy and sympathy. We had to. If we didn't, we were just killing ourselves. And we have in our brain, at least a normal functioning brain, which is, it could be a lot of people usually have normally functioning brain. You don't do that. You don't just kill people. You just don't harm people for the hell of it. In our normal functioning brain. That's why we adapted. So what the hell happened? Well, I think what happened was, from sociological, biological evolution, there would be disagreements. Nobody could go along 100%. If you ever watched the movie with Tobey Maguire, there's a movie called Pleasantville, where it turned out everything was perfect in a small town. In a fictional small town, everything was perfect. There'll be everything was just pretty much black and white. There's no shades of gray. And we know in reality there are shades of gray. There's disagreements. Nothing can be perfect. And even in this perfect civilization and society, people got fed up with it. People from another era, time travel, Tobey Maguire, had to go back in time where everything was just hunky-dory, like the 40s, I expect the milk to be delivered, I expect to go to play basketball, and we win all the time in the basketball game. We never lose. I expect everything to be the way it should be because that's the way we want it to be, perfect. Tobey Maguire and his sister was like, why? How could you live in a society with everything perfect? Why don't you want to see the differences? See what's out there instead of just living perfect? So, in a way, I guess that's good. But, because if you always had to live in a perfect society where everything was just perfect, you wouldn't have debates, and you wouldn't have change. Change is necessary in life to adapt and survive. You don't want to just... And I'm speaking probably for a lot of majority of society. You'd be bored. You'd be like, I want something out there. I want to see something different, you know? So that's what happened. Now, if we didn't end up on Earth, say like if we just ended up on Mars and we just lived in Mars with and the pre-civilization probably didn't get wiped out from all the conflicts and bombardments and meteorites and asteroids killing planets and even I guess pre-civilization, whatever you want to call it, Martians, prehumans, prehumanoids, whatever. And I guess we're gonna find out in a couple more years. We're gonna take the robot and go to different planets and see if we actually find fossils of life. We found life in the meteorites in Mars, but they were so small that they were kind of dismissed. We're gonna go back and try again. And we should just keep on going to other planets, even planets that are reticuli. So, even I think if we didn't end up on Earth, that's just the nature of society. There's always going to be debates. There's always going to be change. There's no society that could be perfect unless we go back to another movie where there was a chip implanted in people's brain and everybody was A students. There was no failure in school. Everybody passed. And the people that felt like they were cheated had to take the chip out of the brain, and that just corrupted the whole school society. So even if things are perfect, things can never really, really, truly be perfect. Because we humans have evolved, and we have brains, and we adapt, you know. And unless you were totally controlled, go back to another movie in the 70s where everybody had to survive by taking drugs. You didn't take drugs, you would... I forget what is... you had to take drugs, this mind drug. You were prisoners of this mind drug. And you couldn't escape. So, humanity overrated? Somewhat. Not totally. It doesn't necessarily, and that doesn't mean you have to kill everybody and kill the whole population. And people who do that are psychos. You know, just because a person, you know, thinks that doesn't have, you can find it as a funny thing. Like, yeah, you know, humanity is definitely overrated. People are just kind of out for themselves, you know, and jobs, you know, and want to just think about themselves. It's kind of true. So it's kind of good we don't live in a perfect society. And I say if we lived in a society that maybe was 80% perfect, or, you know, and then you could have change and adapt for the better. That doesn't hurt the species and doesn't hurt the world and environment, that would be better. Not a totally perfect society, I don't think would be great.